Welcome everyone to Adjustment Bureau. Today's discussion, we're diving into a complex question. Could the global war on terror, or GWOT, be considered a world war? When we think of world wars, our minds typically go to World War I and II, massive global conflicts involving the world's major powers, lasting for years and reshaping the global order. As warfare and global politics have evolved, the nature of conflict has also changed. Does the GWOT, a conflict that has spanned over 2 decades and involved numerous nations across the globe, qualify as a world war? Let's explore this question by examining the characteristics of a world war and how the GWOT might fit or redefine those criteria. First, let's consider global participation and scope. Traditionally, a world war involves multiple nations from different continents actively participating in the conflict. The global war on terror, while primarily led by the United States and its close allies, has indeed involved a significant number of countries. Over 80 nations participated in some form, whether through military operations, intelligence sharing, counterterrorism efforts, or financial actions against terrorist networks. This widespread involvement mirrors the kind of global participation we saw in the two world wars. Moreover, the GWOT has a broad geographic reach. Unlike the concentrated theaters of World War I and II, the GWOT has seen military operations and terrorist activities in a wide range of regions, from the mountains of Afghanistan to the deserts of Iraq, the cities of Europe, and even the United States itself. The conflict has had a presence in the Middle East, South Asia, Africa, Europe, and North America, creating a truly global conflict environment. In this sense, the GWOT could be seen as meeting the global scope characteristic of a world war. Next, let's talk about military engagement. A world war is typically defined by significant and sustained military operations. GWOT certainly fits this description in terms of duration. Beginning in the wake of the September 11th attacks of 2001, this conflict persisted for over 2 decades. Major military campaigns have taken place in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, with ongoing operations in Africa and other regions. The longevity and intensity of these engagements are comparable to those of world wars, which lasted several years each. Additionally, the GWOT has involved various forms of warfare: conventional battles, counterinsurgency, cyber warfare, and intelligence operations. This diverse and multifaceted approach reflects the complexities of modern conflict, where the battlefield is not just physical, but also digital and ideological. While the scale of these operations might not match the massive troop movements of World War I and II, the sustained and varied nature of military engagement in the GWOT could be argued to meet this criteria. Moving on. Let's consider the global impact of the GWOT. World wars are known for their profound and lasting effects on global politics, economies, and societies. The GWOT, though different in nature, has significant global impact as well. Politically, it has reshaped international relations and security policies, leading to the creation of new alliances and strengthening existing ones. Organizations like NATO have played key roles in coordinating efforts, and the GWOT has influenced global diplomatic and military strategies. Economically, the costs of GWOT have been immense. Trillions of dollars have been spent on military operations, reconstruction efforts, and homeland security, affecting economies worldwide. This economic impact, while different in nature, parallels the kind of economic strains seen in world wars. The GWOT has had a deep ideological impact. It can be framed as a global struggle between radical extremism and a coalition of nations promoting democracy, stability, and security. This ideological dimension echoes the ideological battles of World War II, such as fighting against fascism or the Cold War struggle between communism and capitalism. The global impact of GWOT, both in terms of its political and ideological consequences, suggests that it has reshaped the world in similar ways to previous wars. Another hallmark of a world war is the formation of major alliances or coalitions. The GWOT has seen the development of broad international coalitions. For instance, the US-led coalition in Iraq, NATO operations in Afghanistan, and the multinational effort against ISIS represent significant global alignments against common enemies. While these alliances are more fluid and focused on specific objectives than the rigid blocks of World War I and II, they still represent a form of global coalition building against a global threat. In addition, GWOT has driven collective security efforts, much like the collective security measures seen during world wars. Nations have banded together under the United Nations and other international bodies to implement sanctions, share intelligence, and coordinate military actions against terrorist groups. This aspect of the GWOT highlights how it mirrors the alliance-driven nature of previous wars. A significant and overlooked aspect of world wars is the humanitarian impact. Widespread displacement, refugee crises, and the need for international relief efforts. The global war on terror has led to significant displacement, with millions of refugees and internationally displaced persons across the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. The humanitarian crisis resulting from the GWOT, while not on the same scale as World War II's refugee crisis, still represents a significant global change that echoes human suffering caused by world wars. Finally, we should consider the transformation of warfare in the international order. Just as the world wars transformed the nature of warfare and international relations, the global war on terror has redefined key concepts of sovereignty, security, and conflict. The rise of non-state actors as primary combatants and the global force on counterterrorism have reshaped how nations approach war and diplomacy. The global war on terror has forced a reevaluation of international norms that has led to significant changes in global military and diplomatic strategies. In conclusion, while the global war on terror may not fit the traditional mold of a world war, characterized by large-scale battles between major powers, it can be argued that it presented a new kind of global conflict. The global war on terror involves a broad range of nations, has had a profound global impact, and has driven the formation of international coalitions. It has also led to significant humanitarian crises and has transformed the nature of warfare and international relations. By expanding the definition of what constitutes a world war to include the complexities of modern asymmetric conflict, the GWOT could be considered a form of war for the 21st century. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. The debate over whether the GWOT should be considered as a world war is likely to continue. But what is clear is this conflict has reshaped our world in ways that echo the great wars of the past.